Let's create the star of your story. Welcome back to the Kidlit Story Kickoff. We've made it to day 2. So far, you have gone through and analyzed your idea. You know you have something worth writing about. So let's get started with the main component of your story, your character. Inside today's lesson, we're going to talk about what every strong character needs besides having a name, how to choose the right point of view for your story, and what to do if you do not have a character. So grab your workbook so you have your character card to take action after today's episode, and let's dive in. Hi there. Welcome to day 2 of the Kidlit Story Kickoff. I hope you are enjoying the process and that you have had fun researching your idea and you already have some comp books and you know that your story idea is marketable, because today we're going to be continuing our journey along the polish method by still being in that planning series. So as a reminder, I'm Brooke Van Sickle, best-selling author of Picture Book Perfection, How to Write a Children's Book That Sells, as well as a children's book author and publisher myself. I'm really excited to help guide you through this 5-day writing challenge and really excited that you are here and are committed to working on your story. So in Kidlit Academy, which is the program that I teach, we talk about gathering your story assets. This is just a simple saying for brainstorming your idea fully. And so we're going to step out each of those components of your assets throughout the challenge. But there are 3 main things that all stories must include. And this matters whether or not you're writing a picture book, a middle grade, or a YA novel. You have to have these. And that is a main character or point of view for your story, a setting, and a story goal or purpose, the reason that we are here. So today is all about that main character and getting that star of your story. So I need you to ask yourself, who is going to be the focus of this story idea? Now that you know what you're going to be writing, who is the star? Who is going to be in control? This is known as your character. But that doesn't mean that you have to have a character in a traditional sense. I know that for a lot of you, sometimes you have different concepts or more feeling-based ideas, and so your character might take a different shape, but everyone will have a main point of view. And that's why when we're talking about characters, I like to think of characters from viewpoints instead of just in physical terms. So there are 3 main perspectives that you can tell a story from. First person, which is an internal character. This is very intimate. It's I, me, my. It's told from my perspective straight out of my eyes. So you are thinking, seeing, and feeling everything that the character is experiencing. Second point of view is very interactive. It's great for picture books, and this is because it is the reader who is actually the main point of view. It's also great for concept books and nonfiction. Third person is very classic. This is a classic point of view where an outside character is the focus. So you're going to be using their name, he, him, she, her, they, them, to follow along this journey with this story. Now, when you are choosing your character idea, I have a little trick to help you stay inside that perspective, and that is pretending you are a video camera. So everything that comes out into the story itself has to stay within that perspective. So if you are telling it from first person, we are looking directly out of the eyes and we only see, hear, and experience anything that our character would. If it's second point of view, that camera is then turned and facing towards us because the reader is going to be experiencing everything and they're going to be having the reactions and the feelings in the story. If it's a third person, that camera is glued to our shoulder and we are walking beside that character, but we are not actually feeling or internalizing those things. That's the difference between the different perspectives. So once you know what type of character you're going to be working from, what point of view, it's time to build them out as actual 3-dimensional characters that feel real and tangible. So you need to have their name, their age, family dynamics, their personality. Who are they? What makes your character them? What makes them unique? What makes them real? What makes them feel authentic to a reader? Now, inside your workbook, you do have a detailed profile card to help answer those questions that you need to know about your character in order to make them feel 3-dimensional. If you haven't gotten that yet, The link is below. You can go and get your workbook and you can start working through that. But if you're asking yourself, well, what do I do if I don't have a character? Like I said, I know that for a lot of you, especially my picture book writing friends, you are working on a story that is more internal. It is based in emotion. So you might not have a classic character in the terms of a human or an object or an animal, or you might not know how to approach this. And that's when I want you to start playing with second point of view. So this is when you are talking directly to the reader. They are actually becoming the character. They are the ones who are engaging and leading the story and driving the plot. You can use this with a narrator as well. There's lots of examples. I provide examples inside Kidlit Academy if you are looking for additional ones. But here's just a quick list of books to go and check out if you don't know what second point of view is. High Five by Adam Rubin, Remarkably You by Pat Zelo Miller, You Don't Want a Unicorn by Amy Dykman. Those are three picture books that have very different ideas, very different approaches and concepts, but are all told in second point of view. So go check them out and read to see which angle or what perspective makes the most sense for you. All right, so your next steps for today's challenge is to pick the main point of view that makes the most sense for your story, whether or not that's first, second, or third. Complete the character profile based off of that character you're going to choose and start thinking about the world that they're going to live in, because the setting is going to be the next component that we're going to make sure to tackle in our next video. All right, you have your homework. Go work on day 2's assignment, and I will see you for our next step in the Kidlit Story Kickoff. If you enjoyed this episode and want to stay tuned to the rest of the challenge, be sure to like the video below and hit subscribe to get access to all the content inside this week's challenge.